What's up, Falcons Nation, NFL fans? It's your boy Jew coming at you guys with another video. So in today's video, I would like to talk about star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. And there was NFL breaking news today that the Cincinnati Bengals have not been able to come up with a contract extension for Trey Hendrickson. And at this point, they're placing him on the trade block. Personally, I really feel like this is foolish by the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't believe that they're a better team without Trey Hendrickson. He's definitely their best defensive player. And last year, the Cincinnati Bengals really struggled on the defensive side of the ball. That was one of the main reasons they missed the playoffs last year. Their star quarterback, Joe Burrow, put up historic numbers last year. He played really, really well. Him and Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown at that wide receiver position. And this offseason, they decided to pay both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Now, I do believe that both of those guys deserve their money, but I'm not too sure if that was a wise move on Cincinnati's part to pay both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins over paying Trey Hendrickson. Personally, I think they probably should have paid Jamar Chase and allowed T. Higgins to walk in free agency and tried to bring back Trey Hendrickson just to add some balance to this Cincinnati Bengals roster. I really feel like they're top heavy when you talk about their offense. They really have a high-powered offense. I'm a huge fan of T. Higgins' game, but I really feel like Trey Hendrickson is a huge part of that defense. He's led the league in sacks the last 2 seasons with 17.5 sacks in each year. And at this point, I understand why Trey Hendrickson is disgruntled, being that he's been one of those guys that's been consistent, and he's seen guys get paid like Myles Garrett over this offseason with the Cleveland Browns. He just seen TJ Watt get an extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And pretty soon, Michael Parsons most likely will have a new contract extension as well. So I really feel like this falls on the Cincinnati Bengals as an organization, as far as them allowing Trey Hendrickson to get towards the last year of his deal and allowing him to outperform his contract without renewing or extending him before his contract extension was up. And I really feel like at this point, the Cincinnati Bengals are in a world of trouble if Trey Hendrickson is traded. They did draft Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M, who's a guy that they expect to be their next, star pass rusher, or a guy who can come in and possibly fill the void of losing to Trey Hendrickson. But personally, I really feel like Trey Hendrickson is like one of those gems in the league. He's one of those elite pass rushers in the game. If you look at his stats over his NFL career, he's been one of those guys that's been consistent. When he was with the New Orleans Saints, he was a really good pass rusher. And then when he went to the Cincinnati Bengals, he just took his game to the next level. He continued to develop, and he developed himself into a really, really good player. So I really feel like Cincinnati, if they're wise, they'll do everything in their power to pay Trey Hendrickson, to find a way to get a deal done. I'm not too sure how much money they have on the cap and things of that nature. But personally, I believe if you really want to sign a player, you'll find a way to get him under the cap and find a way to get it done. If they're not able to get it done, I really feel like they kind of have wasted, this offseason where they could have possibly moved Trey Hendrickson during the draft and got more draft capital to try to fill some of the voids that they have on the defensive side of the ball. But now that they waited to the 9th hour, most likely they're not going to be able to get the picks and things that they want for Trey Hendrickson, being that Trey Hendrickson is 30 years old, and being that the next team that trades for him is going to have to pay him top dollar and possibly make him one of the highest paid players on the defensive side of the ball in the league. They're not going to be able to get what they're looking for as far as like 2 first-round picks or something like that. I really feel like they're going to end up having to take somewhat of a loss if they decide to move on from Trey Hendrickson. So I definitely think that Cincinnati, is in a bad position when it comes to Trey Hendrickson at this point. Being that week 1 is 3 weeks away, the NFL season is getting ready to start, and they still haven't been able to get a deal done. It's really wild to me. Like I said, they didn't do a good job being proactive in this situation. And now I think it's going to come back to bite them if they decide to move on from a Trey Hendrickson. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Trey Hendrickson possibly being traded. There's a number of teams out there that's listed that has already reached out to possibly grab a Trey Hendrickson. Unfortunately, I don't believe that it'll be our Atlanta Falcons that will go after Trey Hendrickson, with being that we've drafted guys like James Pierce Jr., we've drafted guys like Jalen Walker, and I really feel like the Falcons have bigger fish to fry with guys coming up for new contracts like the Drake Londons of the world and the Bijan Robinsons, and a lot of the other guys that's coming down the pipe like Kyle Pitts if he balls out this season. I really feel like the Falcons are not in a position where they're going to try to bring in a Trey Hendrickson at this point. But like I said, as far as Cincinnati, if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, it's not looking too good. But I always side majority of the time when it comes to contract disputes and things of that nature, I usually side with the player when it comes into these type of situations. And in this particular situation, I really feel like the Cincinnati Bengals don't have a leg to stand on. I really feel like Trey Hendrickson pretty much has all of the leverage when it comes to possibly getting paid, because if he is out there on the trading block, another team is going to be willing to pay him at the top of the market, being that he has the stats to back it up. So with that being said, if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for your boy. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.